Hi, welcome back to Stronger with Rakesh Shukla. Here we talk about how to be mentally, physically, and emotionally stronger. Chances are you're in your 30s, 40s, maybe 50s. You could be a housewife, you could be the CEO of a company, but you've got to a point where you are more aware of yourself, your circumstance, and what is blocking your progress. And that's a little bit of a struggle, so you need to get over that hump, and that's where this conversation comes in, because I've gone through multiple humps in my lifetime and I share those experiences. And I've said before, what makes me is that I've spent a lot of time looking inside of myself and trying to figure out what these mean to me, and what is the message here. It's allowed me to survive, it has allowed me to come back, it has allowed me to thrive, and I share those same experiences with you. Some of you may know this. I rescue dogs. That's not what I do for a living. I run a tech company. I'm a tech entrepreneur now for 14-15 years, but that's my great passion. And everybody says this, and I had some comments on our pages yesterday, which is like, it's so easy to do what you want to do because you're so passionate about it and you have the resources and the money. And that kind of got me thinking. I think it is a common fallacy. People think that you become good at what you're passionate about because you love doing it. So you start doing it and you become very successful doing it. And that's a bullshit idea. That's the idea that we tell ourselves that this guy was good at cricket and he became Sachin Tendulkar because he was good at cricket when he was so young and he found his passion, and so on and so forth. Because Muhammad Ali became a boxer, became the greatest because he was so passionate about it, or Mike Tyson, or Lionel Messi, or whatever, okay, or Ratan Tata. The actual fact is that it's not like that, and I'll tell you why. Because passion is actually, it comes from work. It does not drive work. Passion is related to work, but they're not the same thing. So if playing cricket makes you very happy, does it really make you happy to just happiness, or that itself is will make you get up 4 o'clock in the morning since when you were 12 years old for the next 30 years to get up and practice? Because just happiness is not going to get you there. If you were PV Sandhu and practice every morning since 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, if you were wanted to be a programmer, if that's what you thought your passion was, to get up and work 16 hours a day, because that is work, you need to get very, very good at it. So just passion is not the real answer, and the fact is that work requires discipline, requires perseverance. It is really unpleasant. Work is unpleasant stuff. So if passion does not drive work, how are they two connected? They're connected in one other way, which is that passion is actually the result of hard work. This thing people call love. I love dogs. That's the one sentence that throws me off, man. I don't care if you love dogs or not, or cats, or painting, or whatever. The question is how much pain are you willing to endure to be good at that? Personal pain. So passion, like I said, is a result of hard work. You play a sport, you program well, you do whatever you want to do, economics or finance well, and the better you become at it, the more passionate you will become. And the more passionate you become, the more hard you will work at it. So it's like a cycle, but you don't know when the cycle will begin, because you don't know exactly what talent you have. So this idea that I wanted to I like to play sport, and I wanted to paint, or I wanted to sing, and I could have been the best singer in the world only if I had the chance, that's a bullshit idea. You could still do it, within a fair margin of success. You could still, nothing stops you from doing anything, even if you're 50 today. I started weightlifting 6 months ago. I started becoming fitter 1 year ago. I want to be as competitive as possible, and I'm seriously thinking of how to go into competitive sport. But nothing really stops you. I'm going to be 50, so it doesn't stop me, right? And before that, let me just talk about my own journey with this whole passion and this idea. Okay, I when I was a kid, I just wanted to become a painter. Okay, my house is actually full of paintings that I've made, and I used to win competitions. People used to say that I have a real talent, and I used to like to think that as well, that I have a real talent, except that I was good with mathematics as well. So, as most middle class parents, my parents kind of basically brainwashed me, or it's not the right word, because they didn't give me a choice, right? They're like, you need to become an engineer, do mathematics and stuff like that. And when I was and I had a great resistance to it, but somewhere in my second or third year, I read something in calculus, and that seemed like a hot idea. And calculus is not something that comes naturally to you. You need to spend like a huge amount of time just to understand that shit. Okay, but I became good enough at that stream of calculus that I started writing papers, and I started thinking for myself that, if this happened, then what would happen? If that happened, then what would happen? And eventually I started writing papers, and I started going across the country. I started writing to journals outside the country to publish my papers and read my papers. And so I spent most of the last 2-3 years of my engineering writing papers in calculus. So passion was found. It was not something that I had. It was I did something. I did something well. It kind of fed on itself. And the story about me and the dogs. I got one dog, then I got the other dog, but I found that I had a certain talent, and I started putting more and more time, and I became better and better. So that looks like that is my great passion, but the point is that it is a passion that has been acquired. And I will come to what causes that passion. Even if for you to invest so much of your time and effort on work and so many long hours and endure that kind of pain, why would you do that? And the answer to that in my mind is purpose. And I've written about that in my writings many times before, on how to find purpose in your life. But the simplest way of doing that, and I don't want to get into how to find the purpose, it's too much for right now, but the simplest way of defining purpose and finding purpose is, what do you truly care about? Ask yourself this question: what do you really care about? Do you really truly care about a clean environment? Because if you do, and if that's how you want to invest your time and energy in your life, that purpose is enough for you to endure and do all those things that these great performers and these great leaders and these very so-called passionate people do, for you to become the top performing artist in singing or comedy or dance or whatever. You need to spend a huge amount of time, endure a huge amount of pain, make a huge amount of personal sacrifices. And if you think that you have a purpose, your purpose is that you are I could believe that I'm the best singer in the world, and I want people to know that, to make my voice be heard. That's a purpose. But if I've discovered the purpose, then it's easy for me to develop a work ethic, and the better work ethic I have, the more passionate I will be about what I'm wanting to do, and the more I'll be willing to endure. Purpose does one more thing. Purpose aligns value to your work and to your work ethic. Let me explain you how. For example, if in the case of dogs, I've had all the reason. I think pretty much everybody in my life has told me to give up the dogs, because I went through personally a very difficult time, financially a very difficult time. I've been in and out of courts and cop stations. There was a whole movement to shut to shut my organization, which is VOSD, down, and because VOSD was funded by TWB to shut TWB down. Basically, if my company dies and I die, then all the dogs will die. I mean, it's crudely put, it is as simple as that. So I had to endure a lot, but I mean, eventually I cut out everybody who told me to give up the dogs, which is pretty much everybody in my life, because that was a core value, and that core value was, I don't want to be the guy, the day that I'm dying, I don't want to look at myself and be the guy who gave up on who could not defend themselves. I will end by saying what Friedrich Nietzsche said very well, which is people are not, they will endure a lot of pain provided they understand the purpose of that pain. So it applies to all of us, people who go in solitary confinement, people who are taken prisoners, who've been kidnapped, who are tortured. You see that in regular movies, you see that in all the religious mythology, you see in superhero movies. People will endure a huge amount of pain, provided they understand the purpose of that pain. I know that if I give up this secret, my country will be in great peril. So I endure a great amount of personal pain to be able to safeguard that value. So if you find the right kind of purpose, it will change how you think of work, and work ethic, work-life balance, success. And there's a reason why I'm saying this right now. It's because for a lot of us today, or this time, does represent a certain change and discontinuity in their professional lives. The new economy, the post-coronavirus economy is never going to be the same as the one before. The kind of jobs that we had will change, the kind of financial commitments we could make, or the kind of financial the money that we could make. Things are going to change. It's not going to be exactly the same. So there is a discontinuity, and that discontinuity represents or presents a great challenge, but it also presents a great opportunity. My point here is that if you're at ground zero, if you look at your life and try to find that kind of purpose and build around a professional life around that, you have much more chance at success than doing whatever somebody else told you to do. Yeah, I mean, perhaps the life choices that you had made personally and professionally were not entirely your choices, but if you look at what your purpose is, you could make better career choices, and that's what I really want to tell you, that passion is the worst kind of career advice. Purpose is the best career advice, and that's what I'm trying to give to you. So have a good one. Stick around for another session, another talk in maybe a couple of days, and we'll talk about something which is maybe relevant for you at the time, for all of us. The idea is to keep sharing on things that make us all move forward. It helps me organize my thoughts when I talk to you as well, which is I've said this many times before, there's a whole lot of just thoughts, and they're not kind of all clearly demarcated, but when I'm talking to you, I need to sort them out in an order and say it so it makes sense. So it helps all of us. Okay, so I'll see you again soon. Stay strong, and stick around and be stronger with Rakesh Shukla. Nothing will make me happier. You know that there is all these ways to reach me on Instagram, email, or forms on the website rakeshshukla.com. Look forward to seeing you again. Thanks for your time.